So hello and welcome to this week's video. Um, Using a different type of figure this week, we're using the bootleg of the SH Figuarts Mark 50, and as you can probably tell by the thumbnail and the title, I'm going to be turning it into the concept art from Infinity War of the Iron Mage. I do firstly want to apologise for my voice because I don't know how well it'll pick up on audio, but I'm ill at the moment and my voice is not doing great. But as you can see, I'm taking the heads and the effects from an actual SHF Doctor Strange that I had in my fodder, and then I've got these 3D printed parts I made ages ago for this figure. So I did attempt this custom a while ago, but I think my skills were a little bit better than they were, so I'm going to try and do a better job of this basically. So here you can see the original chest plate that I made. If I can find the 3D file for it, I'll link it in the description below. It may take me until Saturday to find that file though, if I have it. You can also see how dusty my backdrop is. It's been a little while since I recorded the video, so I'll clean that off as well. So now the first issue is in moving house. I appear to have smashed his chest plate off. So simple fix, I'm just going to super glue that together, and I'm going to strip the paint back with acetone and try and remove any of the excess glue or lumps with a little rotary tool. And here you can see it came out fairly well. I actually managed to keep the emblem in the middle, which I'll end up painting over anyway, but I thought that was quite interesting. And now for the effect parts that I did, I made them way too dark originally, so I'm going to use the acetones to strip back some of that dark blue. And now I could actually have left this here. I think this looks kind of cool. A nice like translucent bit with blue highlights. But as you'll see, I end up repainting them fully anyway. They look kind of interesting with all the clear and like the coloured areas still to them. So I always get asked for paints, and 90% of the time I show them, so I'm just going to make sure I show everything I use except for the other paints. So you can see everything here. I'm not going to go and list it all. I did however use thinners to get the red paint into my airbrush. I also used some of the standard blue airbrush paint that came with my airbrush. It's unbranded, so I don't know what it is, and I mixed that in a random ratio until I was happy with the colour, which you can see here. So essentially I did the silver first, then red, the clear red, and then I did a little bit of clear red in blue, and then a bit more clear red over the top. And then for the details, I've just gone in with that gold and silver that you saw just then. And just a little small brush, just to get into those, well, the small details of the parts. But here you can see I'm fairly happy with how this has come out. The colour match isn't perfect. It weirdly blends in with his feet and his shoulders, but not fully with the rest of him. You can also see in gluing it back onto his chest, I accidentally put my thumbprint in it and it pulled the paint off in that area. But yeah, overall fairly happy with how this piece looks. I also used the blue and white that came with my airbrush, just to get this lighter blue on the effect parts that I made. Now for anyone wondering how I get the Doctor Strange head on properly, I actually still have the neck joint, so I use that, and I've made sure to loosen the neck joint on the actual figure just so I can take the heads off and it comes off with the neck joints attached to the head. Because the lower ball joint of the Doctor Strange head actually fits really well on the neck joint of the Mark 50. So here's the actual concept art from Infinity War, and I think it does a fairly good job, as good as like SHF can really go. You can see it does push the chest out quite a bit, but the Mark 50 SHF already had quite a big chest on it. I don't know why it did, but it did. So with the effect parts, you can see, for whatever reason, I've broken that effect part at some point. Actually, that might have been a misprint that I just never bothered fixing. But you can see it does peg onto the effect parts for the hands. Again, the 3D files for these will be linked below if I can find them still. I'm not entirely sure if I still have them. I did design this years ago. And by years ago, I mean like when the concept art got leaked. So we're talking before Endgame came out, really. Yeah, fairly happy with how this guy came out. It's nice to go and upgrade a couple of my old customs, or fix them, repair them, update them. If you guys would like to see more of this, do let me know. I have a lot of customs that need repairs and upgrades. In fact, I'm sat staring at them right now. So you can see that that's exactly how I interchange these parts. They've literally just got that little plug on the bottom, and it attaches over the peg on the hands. I quite like this weird ring effect, with the line running through the middle. But I do have to admit I prefer the big discs. So bringing them back in without those effect parts. Attempting to match that original image that you saw earlier of the concept art where he just stood straight up and down with the effect glowing around his hand. I think I originally had effect parts that could do that, but I don't know where they are now. I think the proportions work quite nicely. I think the head could maybe be a bit bigger. Same as the helmeted head. The helmeted head needs to be a bit bigger, really. But just using some blue tack, I can get that interesting pose that he's in the concept art. Obviously not perfect, because the effect parts on the concept art are a little bit smaller. But when I printed these years ago, I didn't scale them down correctly. You know, for a small upgrade, this works quite nicely. My voice is slowly going as well, I'm actually losing it now. But yeah, here you go, here's another custom that I could upgrade or repair. You can see the cloak isn't attached properly. So here's the concept art of the two of them. I'm quite a big fan of how that looks. And at some point I will go and upgrade the Tony Stark one as well. So if you guys would like to see me upgrade this, do let me know and I'll figure something out. Because he does need an upgrade, and I'm happy to do that on camera if you guys would like to see it. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you've enjoyed, obviously stick around because I'll be doing more stuff like this.